You think I'd be ready when the camera goes live, wouldn't you, after all these very long months of popping up live every Tuesday night? We're going with the phone tonight. We've managed to get some of the glitches gone in my phone, so hopefully the sound and the video will be much better than in previous weeks. So good evening, everybody. I am Mandy and I am a creative genius consultant. I love working with creative women to launch or develop their business and make more money. And tonight is all about money. Money, money, money. So that's what I'm going to talk about. But I'm going to wait a few minutes and just see if anyone pops on. If not, I do my usual. I'm on the phone, so whether I'll be able to see the comments or not, I don't know. We'll just go with the flow. I hope you've all had a wonderful day. It's been quite nice here, intermittently. And I've had a really busy day. I feel up to here with work at the minute, but a really great day for many reasons. And I shall be revealing more and more as the weeks go on. Anyway. Tonight's live is all about my story of how 10 years ago I lost everything. And I mean everything. When I say that, you know, people think, oh yeah, she still had something. I literally lost everything. I only had £30 left in my bank account. I had a crappy £700 car. I lost my house. Even had to sell some of my furniture. We're really starting with very little. And that happened due to a series of unfortunate events. And it can happen to anybody at any time. But what I wanted to talk to you about tonight is, and please say hi if you drop on, just so I know that there's somebody there and I know that this is working okay and the phone is working okay. That would be really good if someone would just go, hi, I'm here. I can hear you. Yeah, and if you're watching on replay, hashtag replay and make your comments. I will reply to you. And yeah, 10 years ago, lost everything. But the good news is that it doesn't have to stay that way. Because last year, in 2019, I manifested, and this is how I've put it in the post, I manifested my dream home. And the cold hard cash to buy it, I also manifested an additional £60,000 in cash that I've used to invest in my business and bought all the new furniture for my new house. And I've started my dream business. So to go from 30 quid to spending £500,000 last year, there's a big leap there. So what I wanted to share with you tonight is the how. And last week, for those of you that watched my manifestation week, the best way that you can actually get to where you want to be is to forget the how. Because it's about your mindset and it's about your behaviour. So what I'm going to tell you is where I started off. Now, if you want to read the story of how I ended up bankrupt, you can buy my book, The Life I Won. There's a link for it in the comments box. There's a link for my money mindset course, which I'm going to talk to you about as well, a free mini money mindset course, because it took me 10 years to write this book as well. But I told my story of how I lost everything in this book, fictionalized it, took creative license with it, changed a few names and a few events to make sure it was a work of fiction, but it's based on real events. Now, the very, very first thing I had to do, imagine being stripped of everything. So I had a 6-figure salary. I was a senior executive. I had a 6-figure salary and loads of benefits with that job. I'd been headhunted a couple of times, actually. Was very successful in a career that I didn't know I was going to end up in, but made the best of it. And that's where we start. I'm going to start at that very point. I ended up in a career that I didn't want to be in. I've always wanted to be an artist or something creative, but I ended up doing something else. Now I made the best of it, and that is the starting point for everything, because it's all about mindset, and we're going to work through that in the 10 steps. So I've got for you tonight, I don't do this as a coach, honestly, 10 steps to success, or in other words, Mandy's JFDI if you want a progress list. So that's kind of where I'm going to take this live tonight. It's going to be a training for you of the steps, the very steps that I used to turn my life around. There is no magic wand, guys. I can't say if you do this, you will manifest £500,000. But I did. And if I did, you can. And that's really what I wanted to say to you tonight and help you through this in the training. Aha! Oh no, that's a text. I thought that was somebody popping on. So I can't stop text coming through on the phone while I'm talking. They're very distracting. So I ended up I was in a career that I didn't plan to be in. However, I made the best of it. And I was very happy in that career and in my 6-figure job. And something happened. Something happened, and it was the catalyst to lots of things happening following that. That's the series of unfortunate events. So I lost my job, my career, my car, everything that went with it, all the benefits. I lost my dad. I lost my husband. I lost all of my money due to an unwise investment that I'd made with somebody else. I lost a lot of things. My son was diagnosed with autism. And at the teetering on the end of it, I also lost my home. And that's how I ended up. It was just all in a 12-month period. So it was a real sort of constant rolling bam, 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 bam. Now you can imagine that would really knock you down. It would knock you off your pedestal, wouldn't it? Even the people with the strongest mindsets. So how did I survive that and then thrive and turn my life around? So I started with number 1, and I did a 12-week series on this last year, trying to share some detail with you, but I've summarised it for this training tonight. I've tried to summarise it. So the very first step that you have to start with in anything bad that happens, anything that you want to turn around, any self-development that you do, any life-changing stuff that you do, the very first step, doesn't matter what anybody else says to you, is forgiveness. And then gratitude. Because when you can forgive yourself and you can forgive others that have maybe done wrong to you or caused the series of events or caused the actions that have happened to you, then you release yourself to be able to think in a positive way. When we hold on to fear, anger, resentment, all of those things, all those negative emotions, hatred, somebody does wrong to us, we hate them and we wish them bad, that actually holds you in a place. It doesn't hold them anywhere because they're actually oblivious to how you feel and probably don't care if that's the type of person they are. So there is no point in holding yourself in that. It's like a stasis of negativity. Hatred and resentment and jealousy all sit in that stasis of negativity. And they're no good. You can't think of positive things because you're held back by those negative thoughts. You can release yourself. So the very first thing for me was to forgive everybody and everything that had happened to me, including forgiving myself for making some wrong choices. Because the people who caused the things to happen to me, I'd allowed them to do it. I'd made choices, and I needed to forgive myself for that. And it's really important starting point. I can't tell you the importance of forgiving, and you have to do it with such conviction. And when you start forgiving, you have to look at everything in your life that you need to forgive in order to release yourself fully, to have a 100% positive mindset in order to move forward. And when I say forgive everything, I mean get down to the nitty-gritty of forgiveness and forgive that old boss that overlooked you for a job, and forgive the kid that bullied you in school, and forgive that person that said that horrible comment to you when you were on a night out once. You have to go through your life and have a look at everything and let it go. Because those are the things that hold you back. That's the lesson I learned when I lost everything. I had nothing left, so there was no point in holding on to anything, because I had 2 choices, didn't I? Stay where I was, or change things. And in order to change things in a positive way and attract wealth towards me and attract abundance towards me, I had to have an abundance and wealthy, open mindset. So forgiveness, step one. And then gratitude, step two. Gratitude to still be alive. Gratitude for what you have. Gratitude for the £30 in my bank account, because it could have been nothing. Gratitude for my £700 car. Gratitude for being able to move into a council house. All of those things were my starting point. I call them my foundations, where I built my wealth and abundance up from, because without them, I wouldn't have been able to do that. When you can forgive and let go and find gratitude for what you've got, no matter how little it is, then what comes out of that is a strong mindset, a strong and positive mindset. So note this, because this is fact. Mindset is 90% of everything. And I mean everything. Whatever you want to achieve in life, mindset is 90% of it. Whether it's giving up smoking, losing weight, doing the Great North Run, launching a successful, abundant business. Mindset is 90% of everything. And without that positive mindset, you are setting yourself up to fail. Fact. And you can't grow the positive mindset if you're holding on to old resentments or old anger or old jealousies, whatever they may be. Besides, they don't exist. And I read the posts through this week. Nothing exists. None of that stuff really exists, because the only thing that does exist is now, this moment. Even what you ate for tea 2 hours ago is gone and forgotten. Might be working its way through your system, but it's just an activity or a thought or an action, and they're gone as soon as you finish them. So what is the point of holding on? Even if somebody has been really horrible to you, there's nothing you can do to change that. Nothing you can do to change that. The only thing you can change is you right now, in this moment. And that's all about mindset. And that's where you start to take your mindset forward. And when you open your mindset to positive things and you think positively and you let go of past grievances, you are setting yourself up for more success. And believe me, how you do anything is how you do everything. How you do anything is how you do everything. So remember I said I'd ended up in a career that I didn't plan to be in, and I made the best of it. I started nurturing my mindset 35 years ago when I said, well, I can't get a job as an artist or in the creative community, so let's just get a job elsewhere and let's make the best of it. And I made myself really good at it. So when I lost everything, the first thing I thought was, right, okay, how can I regain everything? So step one, forgiveness and gratitude. Step two is mindset, because mindset is 90% of everything, and how you do anything is how you do everything. Step three was acknowledging what I had, then identifying what I needed. And when I say acknowledging what I had, I don't mean things and stuff, because that was very minimal. I mean experience and knowledge and what I'd been through in the past, the traumas, the very things that had just happened to me. How could I use that to help me move forward? And what did I need to structure it and take it to a place where I could really use it to create wealth? So that was step three for me, acknowledging what I had. Now, I'm an intelligent woman. I've always been a lifelong learner. I always will be a lifelong learner. I've always educated myself well. I have got 3 degrees, and that's not a group. It's actually, I have, and I've got several diplomas, not because I want to I don't actually use them on any of my communication. I don't talk about them. I just have them. I have them because I want to learn. I like to learn. So that's a skill. I identified that as a skill. And then I decided, what do I need? Now, initially, I needed to come up with a very, very quick idea to make money to feed my children and myself. That was it. I needed to come up with something quick. So I looked around in the local area, and it was full of hospitality. So holiday lets, and hotels. So I started a cleaning business really quickly and got clients really quickly and managed to build that up really quickly until I was hiring people and taking on contracts. That was something I could just do. It wasn't where my heart was. It wasn't where my dreams were. I didn't want to be a cleaner, but it was what I needed to do right then. And sometimes you've just got to do what you need to do right then in the moment so that you can move on to something better. And I'm sure we've all been there. Maybe some of you haven't, but that ability that I had to be able to think quickly on my feet and create something really, really quickly was a skill also. So I knew that that was going to serve me. I also knew that although I only had £30 in my bank account, I had a pension, a company pension scheme from being a senior leader. And I was only 45. I couldn't touch it, but I could look at that financial product and see if it could work for me. So I set about learning about pensions and learning about financial products. And that led me to doing some qualifications and then selling the cleaning business and starting a financial services business. And I really got into the nitty gritty, found some really good business partners to work with great knowledge, and found some really good pension advisors, and decided that, do you know what, whatever I had in my pension, and I had, I'm going to tell you now, £239,000 in that pension that I couldn't touch, but it was the only asset I had. So I found pension advisors and I read books on pensions and I read everything I needed to know, and I interviewed the pension advisors to see if they were right, whether I resonated with them, because I was going to trust them with this pot of money. And I sat with when I found the right one, Paul, he was brilliant. We sat down and I said, I want to turn that £239,000 into £500,000 by the time I'm 55 so that I can decide what I want to do with the rest of my life. That's the one thing, and I just want it to work for me, and I just want you to be able to do it for me with my input. So that's the relationship I set up, and that product was then the key thing for me. So then I could forget about it and allow somebody to help me manage that. I would review it every 3 months with him, and I would have an annual meeting with him. That was the agreement. So that's about looking at what you've got and then deciding what to do with it. So that's step 3, acknowledging what you have, then identifying what you need. And I knew I didn't want to stay in a council house, and I didn't want to stay with a £700 car. And I wanted more than £30 in my bank account. So I made a decision of what I needed to do. But first thing I did, and this is step 4, I learned to live small, to live within my means, to make sure that I was only spending absolutely what I had to. So I was paying my rent and I was paying my bills and I was buying food and I was doing all of that. And then I was looking at the pot and saying, right, okay, what extra do I need to earn, and how am I going to earn it? So when looking at what you have and getting your ducks in a row is about living within your means, living small in order to plan big. Live small in order to plan big. And what I did is, as my income increased, I did not increase what I was spending. I kept it the same. And every penny that I earned over and above what I was earning, what I needed to live, was invested into several different accounts. So I set up pensions for my 2 children. I set up ISAs for my 2 children. I set up ISA for me, and another savings account. But I was only putting little amounts in to start with, and as I earned more, there was more and more going in. So that's step 5. Step 4, living within your means. Step 5 is all about your money mindset, education in money and taking responsibility, which is why all week this week I'm talking about how to manifest. And everything I'm talking about to you tonight is about how you can manifest what you want. And you might not have a pension like I did. You might. Do you know what? I have since found 2 forgotten pensions for my husband, 1 forgotten pension for a friend of mine, total value of about £150,000 between the 3 of them, because people don't know what they have. And they get complacent around money. Now that is about money mindset, because if you are complacent around money and you don't look after it and you don't love every penny of it, I became an extreme cheapskate in order to not be an extreme cheapskate. So I became the Scrooge of my life with my money. I got to know it really, really well. I got to know every single penny of my money, where it was going, how much I was spending. I have more loyalty cards than anybody I know. I was so careful. I became an expert and a master of money. Because if I wanted to turn my life around, I needed to be intimately involved with money. To cruise along, and I'm not saying this is you if you're watching, but many, many people cruise along through life, not really knowing what they're spending, not really knowing what's coming in, not really knowing what their investments are doing and if they could do better, not really looking at key investments like pensions or other high ticket products that could actually be earning lots of money. It's just something we're not connected to. And when you connect yourself to money and take full responsibility for it, like you would with anything else, then you start to change your money mindset. That's why I've got my free mini money mindset program. I love alliteration, me. And the link will be on the comment section of this live, and it'll be everywhere all week. Get yourself on that free audio program and listen to what I have to say. It's 6 audios. You can sit and have a cup of tea and listen through all of them and listen to what I say about money. Because until you get intimate with money, you are not going to change your life. But that's all about manifestation. When you're manifesting, you have to become the master, the expert, and then you need to allow the how to just happen. I did not know how I was going to make my money, how my life was going to turn out, and how I was ever going to get back to a creative career. I didn't know. I just let it happen. But I took responsibility for every single penny of my money. Do you know who else does that now? My 2 children are the same as me. My daughter's been sitting budgeting today. She's 20. It makes me really proud because money's important to us. We need it to live. We want money. We need money. And if you're going to manifest a large quantities of it into your life, your first step is to get intimate. So that was step 5, money mindset. The next step, I'm just keeping an eye on the time because I don't want to be wittering on all night here, but this is important stuff. The next step is number 6. Now, here's a decision I made 10 years ago. I had nothing to lose. So I decided to just say yes to everything. Every opportunity that came my way. Hi there. Somebody just dropped on. Great. That means somebody is there. So yeah, I decided to just say yes to absolutely everything. Every opportunity that came my way, every free thing that was offered to me, every opportunity to work with somebody, to get to know somebody. That's great. Hi, I'm pleased you're there. Pleased somebody is there. Amarouche. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So when you decide, make a conscious decision to say yes to everything that's going to come your way, you are telling the you're projecting that to the universe, aren't you? Yes, universe, I am open, I am ready, I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to go through every door, and I'm going to take every opportunity, and I'm going to make the best of it because I've got a really strong mindset, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready for anything until I find out which is the correct path for me to be following. That's so, and it's difficult. That's not an easy thing to do, to say yes to everything. Now, I don't mean that in a negative way. I wouldn't say yes to everybody that asked me to do something for nothing. I wouldn't say yes to people who were making demands on me. I said yes to things that looked like opportunities or looked like they could become opportunities at a later date. So that was one of my strategies, just open myself up and say yes to everything that looked like it might open doors for me. So I said yes to having a cleaning business. I said yes because it was going to do what I needed it to do for me and for my family. Then I said yes to moving into financial services. Then I said yes to more education courses. I ended up doing a degree in psychology and several coaching programs because there was opportunities for me to get them financed and do them for nothing. So why wouldn't I? re-educate myself and get more knowledge and not have to pay for it. Fantastic. So step 6, say yes to everything. Never mind the how, just say yes. The how will work itself out when you say yes to the universe. Step number 7 in my 10 steps is I am the change. I am the power. Everything was down to me. Taking 100% responsibility for absolutely everything that you do, absolutely everything in your life, and not blaming anybody else or anything else or circumstances is immensely freeing, and it's what's going to move you forward. It's only when you take 100% responsibility for everything that you can then change things. Because if you're sat there thinking, well, this has happened, but it wasn't my fault, or, you know, I know this needs to happen, but it's not my responsibility, I'll let somebody else do it. But do you know what? You can't, again, you're stuck in negative mindset. I took 100% responsibility for money, for furnishing my home, for looking after my kids, for taking them to all their courses and trying to fit work around them and finding my own childcare. I didn't ask my mum to help. I took responsibility for my children. I got up at 5 o'clock and took my dogs out for a walk. I took responsibility for absolutely everything in my life. And that is the only way that you can move anything forward. Only by accepting it and owning it can you change it. Because if you think it's somebody else's responsibility, then it's not going to change, is it? It's only when you accept that responsibility that you can change it. So that's step number 7 in my 10 steps to success, or Mandy's JFDI if you want to progress list. Number 8, this is really important. So all this work that I'd done was about really laying foundations and getting some strategies in place and thinking about all the different areas of my life. And then number 8 is about releasing long-term plans to the universe. Where did I want to go? I wasn't just blindly faltering through life. And I said forget about the how, and I do mean that, forget about the how. But I had to know where I was going. I needed to know where I was going. And so did the universe, because how could it align things for me if I didn't tell it where I wanted to be? So telling the universe exactly what you want to be and talking about it and getting excited about it and passionate about it and obsessed with it. I covered obsession last week and obsessed with it. Releasing your long-term plans to the universe. Now, I, with my children, drew a picture of my dream home 10 years ago. And we had it on our wall. It was on my vision board. And it was just a picture by the kids and me, and we drew it, and this is what it's going to look like. And we did it after a dog walk because we'd been out on a dog walk and we were living in a council house. It was really quite small and cramped for the 3 of us and 2 dogs. Oh, my light's just gone off. Can you still see me? I'll have to just sign into my laptop. And turn it back on. Get some light on here, Mandy. Yay, there we go. So we'd been on a dog walk, me and the kids. And my daughter was about, how old was she? About 10. And we were looking at all the houses that were different to ours. And she was admiring the big houses, and she was saying, Mum, one day can we live in that type of house? One day can we have a nice big house? How much does it cost to buy one of those houses? And I was saying, oh, Becca, yes, we will one day. And if we were to buy that house, it might cost us about £300,000. And she was like, oh, how much is that? And I had to explain money to her and explain the value of the house and why there was so much. And she was always a why bird, my daughter. She was questioned everything since she was able to speak, and that's a great thing because it keeps you grounded. So hi Debbie. So we went home after that dog walk, and I said to the kids, why don't we draw a picture of the house that we want to live in? It was just the 3 of us, so that's what we did. We had an art project afternoon and we drew a house, and I kept that picture of that house for 10 years. So when I bought my dream home last year, and I'm coming to this, it's really strange because we had to make a last minute adjustment, and we moved to the place we wanted to live, and this is part of manifestation. We moved to the place we wanted to live in order to find the house we wanted to live in, and the house I've ended up living in is exactly the same as the picture that we drew 10 years ago, and it's not similar, it's exactly the same. It's got a blue door, the same as the house that we drew. It's a 4-bedroom house. It's got a garage on the side, even the bushes at the side. And the kids drew this, not me. So that's part of manifestation. But I put that out to the universe a long time ago. I drew the house we wanted to live in. I wrote words that said how I wanted to feel. I knew I wanted to get back to my creativity. All of these things were in my long-term plans that I put out to the universe. And it's important to do this because the universe needs to know where you're going or where you want to go so it can open the doors for you. But you have to have confidence that you can get there. So by doing all the other work, the groundwork, setting the foundations in place, then you are helping yourself to get there. You are increasing the power of your mindset, and mindset is so powerful. So that's number 8, releasing your long-term plans to the universe. Number 9 is to invest in yourself. Now, I've already said to you, I invested in myself. I learned everything about pensions. I learned everything about financial services. I did a psychology degree. I did several coaching diplomas because I was working part-time in my cleaning business, not full-time. And I had time to study around the kids. So while they were in dance lessons for 3 hours, I could do some studying while I was sitting there. And while they were doing karate or whatever, I could do an hour's studying. So I fit it around my life, found a way. And I invested in myself. And I worked with 2 great coaches. Bob Proctor was one of them, and Jack Canfield was the other. And I'm working with a great coach now. And I've always worked with a coach. And this is my number 9, invest in yourself. Some people never invest in themselves. They don't even buy themselves a self-development book. And until you read something that gives you a way forward or a different path, or until you learn something that gives you a way forward or a different path, how on earth are you going to do it yourself? None of us can do it on our own. None of us can do it on our own. I couldn't have done it on my own without the people that I work with, without the books that I read, without the courses that I went on, without the coaches that I had, without the degree course. Now, you don't have to do a degree. Don't get me wrong, you don't have to do that. But if you never do anything, then what's going to change? Ask yourself that question, because how you do anything is how you do everything. Investing in yourself is the most. And I remember I started with £30 in my bank. I still invested in myself. Big time. I've spent tens of thousands invested in myself, honestly, to make me able to just do the things I do today. And then my final point in my 10 steps is how to create your big vision, because it's important that you have a big vision, because you don't serve anybody by staying small. You know, it's really funny because I was at the hospital with Gary. It's Tuesday today, isn't it? So me and Gary were at the hospital for his normal review day yesterday, or we weren't, shall I say. We were driving down to the Freeman, and it was snowing obviously yesterday, and it took us 3.5. Hi Amanda. It took us 3.5 hours to get to the Freeman Hospital from Long Horton, which actually isn't that far, guys, for those of you who know. Great to have you on, Amanda. Lovely. So, last year's vision board, I ticked off my house. I'm going to talk a bit more about that. And I ticked off everything else. And the only thing, I had a picture of a Qashqai, a Nissan Qashqai on there, because that's the car I wanted. And I've got a Nissan Note at the minute, and the Qashqai's bigger, nicer, more expensive, will fit the dog in more comfortably. So we were driving down to the Freeman, and I said to Gary, you know, that's the only thing I didn't tick off my vision board last year, that Nissan Qashqai. And it's bothering me. I said, I think it's time to go and do a test drive and go and have a look for one. And I made the decision driving down, and on the way back from the hospital, we went to the hospital, he picked up a new nebulizer, we turned around and came home because they cancelled the clinic when we got there. So spent 3.5 hours getting there for no clinic. So we came back home, and we came into Anik, and I took the dog for a walk. I took him down, and then I thought I took him for a walk just around Blackshaw's, which is the garage. Went in, saw one of the sales guys and said, right, I want a Nissan Qashqai. There's my budget and I want it within 6 weeks. I've got his card and that's it. Your goals have got to be big. You put your goals out to the universe. You put your vision out to the universe and it's got to be big. It doesn't serve you to be small, because what happens is as you set big, juicy, big, fat, hairy goals that you think, this is what I really want, your brain starts to come up with ideas, and it's not just ideas, it starts to notice. So if you, for instance, want a Nissan Qashqai and you make that decision and you put a photograph of that on your wall and you get really obsessed with it, you go and test drive one, you sit in it, you can feel it, what will happen is you'll start to notice more Nissan Qashqais on the road as you're driving around, and you'll get constant reminders from the universe, which will get your grey matter working for you, and that will create ideas, options, opportunities, open doors for you to actually get exactly what you want. And it was sitting in the car for 3.5 hours yesterday morning on the A1 watching Nissan Qashqais driving past me, and me going, that's the only thing I haven't ticked off my vision board for last year, Gary. And now I've got something in progress to actually get that. So you've got to put your big visions out to the world. And you know, if you've been watching me in the last few weeks, you know what my new big vision is. My Scottish castle, my Scottish retreat is right here. I'm talking to you, all right? While I'm talking to you, I can see my vision board with my Scottish retreat, and it's a castle, it's not a cottage, all right? That's always in my view when I'm working. It's right on my desk, right where I work. I look at it all day, every day, because I want to come up with the route and the path for that. I don't have a strategy, I don't have a plan, because the how will unfold itself over the next couple of years. I know I'm going to get there, I just don't know when, but the how will make it happen, because that's all about manifestation, and that's what I'm talking to you about tonight. When I say I manifested everything last year, so let's go back a couple of steps. I've taken you through the 10 steps and I will summarise them again at the end. Last year, in 2019, 10 years since I had that meeting with Paul, my pension advisor, and said, I want this pension to be 500,000 when I'm 55. Do you know what my pension was last year when I could access it at 55? Was it 500,000? Not quite. It was 498,600 and something. Do you think I was disappointed that it wasn't 500,000? No. Was that hell? It was only a few quid away. But I'd set that intent with the universe. I'd sat down and done all the work and engaged some help from an expert, educated myself, put it out to the universe, and I knew exactly what I was going to do with that money. So I withdrew enough of that pension to buy my dream home cash. Now, many people might criticise me for that and say that I could have done something better with that money, but do you know what? I've got complete peace of mind living in my dream home, paid for. But what also happened is, throughout the year, I was able to manifest an additional £60,000 of cash to buy brand new furniture for my brand new home, and also to invest in my brand new dream business that I'd always wanted to do. Because what had held me back previously in previous businesses, they'd all been really low startup costs. I've not really invested much in them. I just had really successful businesses, but not doing what I loved. So this was about me taking time out to paint, taking time out to write, building my business gradually, allowing people to come to me, and building a bit of an empire. I needed time and money to be able to do that. So I manifested an additional £60,000 last year. And I did that by setting big goals and opening myself to the universe and allowing the how to just come. So I thought long and hard about money. We all come back to money and how I'd mismanaged it in my youth And I went back and put applications in for PPI that I could hardly even remember because it was so long ago. And because I couldn't remember and I didn't have any documentation, I thought, well, how? I'd put that out to the universe and how can I find out? And I came up with solutions for everything, every barrier that came up, because I'd put it out to the universe, I came up with solutions. So I actually went onto the land registry and found got the land registry reports for mortgages I had had 30 years ago, honestly, guys. And on the land registry was who the lender was. So I then put in PPI applications in for houses I'd had 30 years ago. Now, I'll have to say to you that of the £60,000 that I manifested last year, almost 20,000 of it was from PPI, from old mortgages. And I know that that ship has sailed now, but I was like, right, I need this money. How am I going to manifest it? What am I going to do? I'd had a car accident, so I'd put in a claim for injury because I had to have neck surgery last year because of the car accident. So I got money through that. I got a tax rebate that I applied for. I said about my husband having an old, he mentioned to me he thought he'd had a pension when he was 18 and only paid into it for a few months. So I got my pension guy to investigate that for my husband. And he had 2 pensions come back for him, one for 30,000 and one for 10,000. So because we're married, that's manifested money into our joint pot. And there were lots more little things like that my brain just kept coming up with things. And it's because I'd set this big intent with the universe. And it's the same this year. So I have set the intent of working with 30 women on my signature program. I know exactly how much money that will bring in for me. A, I get to do what I love, helping creative women. And B, I can actually hit the targets that I've set. I've set targets of how many other programs I want to sell and how many other things I want to do, like workshops and my Get Ready to Rise campaign that I'm doing with the lovely ladies, Sarah and Leanne and Natasha. So there's lots of things. So if I was sitting in my house waiting for money to come to me, guess what? It wouldn't happen. You have to have big goals, big visions and big ideas, and then take action. So my top tips involve a lady called Ida. So I'm going to introduce you to Ida. And Ida is 3 letters that are very powerful. Intent. What is your intent? I in Ida is for intent. So what is your big vision? What do you want to achieve? What's your intent? Where are you going? D is for declaration. Declare it to the world. Do you know something? Write it down. Bear with me. I write all my goals down and everything that I want in this book. Right? Goals 2019, 2020. I don't lie. This is what I do. There's one of last year's goals. Look at that, 2019. Big tick on it. Buy dream home. That's what I do. I set my intent. Do you know why? Because the act of writing something down makes that declaration far more powerful than just thinking about it. So think about this. When you make your New Year's resolutions, how many of you actually write them down? Okay, so you probably just say, oh, my New Year's resolution is this, and then you probably don't achieve it. Those people that write them down and set the intent and declare it to the universe. So if you sit down and write down that I want to lose 3 stone in January, and this is what I'm going to do about it, and you make that declaration to the universe, then that's far more powerful than just saying, oh, I want to lose weight. That's my New Year's resolution. So what's your intent? Make declaration to the universe. And then the A in Ida is for action. Take action on your declaration. Do something. If it is you want to go and lose weight, go and join a slimming club, get a personal trainer, go out running, go to the gym, whatever it is that you intend to do when you've declared to the universe, take the action that's necessary to get you there. So 10 years ago, I set the intent of not staying in poverty. I set the intent of changing my life, of building a business and building an empire that could support me and my children in a better standard of living than we were at the time. Because I didn't want to stay small. I didn't want to, I'd had a 6-figure salary. I'd been very successful. I didn't want to stay small. I wanted something big again, and I wanted it to be mine this time. I didn't want to work for somebody. I wanted to do it for myself. Whether I failed at that or whether I succeeded, I didn't care. I wanted to do it for myself. That was my intent, and that's what I declared to the universe. So how do you manifest your dream home, your dream car, your dream life? You start by letting go of all the crap in the past and forgiving everything and everybody and clearing your mindset. It's like when you clean your house and you get rid of all the rubbish, yeah? And you dust all the surfaces and you clean all the gunk out of the bath. That's what forgiveness does for your mind. It's like a spring clean. Forgiving and gratitude is like a spring clean. Because having a clean, clear, focused mind allows you to be able to come up with the things that you want without having to create this huge action plan that goes with it. You do need an action plan. We all need an action. You need to take action, but you don't know how. You don't need to know how you're going to get there. You just need to know where you're going. I hope that has helped, and I'm going to just run through my top 10 steps for success. I hate 10 steps to successes and 7 steps to this. So that's why I said, or Mandy's JFDI, if you want a progress list. These literally are the things when I sat down and thought about what I'd done over the last 10 years to get where I've got today. This is what I did. Number 1, forgiveness and gratitude. Absolutely non-negotiable, has to be done. If you skip this step, guess what? You won't get there. If you skip step 1, you will not get where you want to get to. Step 2, mindset. How you do anything is how you do everything. You've got to think you can, believe you can, act as if you've already got it. That's a mindset that's going to take you forward. Number 3 is acknowledging what you have already that can help you. Remember, not things. What do you have? What skills do you have that you can use to take you forward? Then identifying what you still need. What's your skill gaps? What do you need? Like I did with pensions and finance, I needed to learn about money and pensions so that I could make the best decisions. So what you do with what you have. And that's getting your ducks in a row, living small in order to think and live big in the long-term future. So getting your ducks in a row and making tiny baby steps towards your big goals. Number 5 is your money mindset. God, you need to get intimate with money. Every single penny that comes in and out of your life, you need to know it like it's honestly. Whoops, sorry, I lost you there. Hopefully I'm back. That was just a little blip. Do the mini mindset audio course. It'll start you thinking. Do it. It's free. Just do it. Okay? Take responsibility for your money. Educate yourself. Find out. There's loads of ways you can find out. So that's number 5. Number 6, say yes to everything. Yeah, never mind the how, just say yes. Opportunity, looks like an opportunity, say yes to it. Number 7, I am the change, I am the power. Everything is your responsibility. Absolutely everything. No blame, you. Number 8, release your long-term plans to the universe. Tell the universe what you want. Number 9, really, really important step, guys. Invest in yourself. Go and do a workshop. Go and do a course. Look at some further education. Where are the gaps in your knowledge? Invest in yourself. And then number 10, how to create your big vision. You don't serve anybody by staying small. Create your visions big, really big, huge monster visions. Yeah, that's what you've got to do in order to manifest what I have managed to manifest into my life in the last 10 years. Now, my job now, and this is what I do now, is to help creative women to do all of that quicker. Because what you do when it takes you a long time, and I probably could have done it quicker myself if I hadn't ended up as a single mum with 2 small children and 2 dogs. Huge responsibility. And no, I couldn't have done the things that I'm doing now in my business. I wasn't as free. I didn't have as much time. So things come when they are right for you as well. The universe only gives you what you can cope with. It doesn't overload you. And that's what happened with me. It took me 10 years, but my signature program takes creative women through that process a hell of a lot quicker than I did, because I've used that knowledge now and put it into a program. I've done the same with the Money Mindset program so that you can get intimate with money, because it's important if you want to move forward. This week is all about money mindset. It's all about, firstly, read my story. The people that have read it have given me 5 stars, and they've said it's made them change things. Read it. That will cost you a tenner. That's a good investment. You can buy it using the link in the comments. The Money Mindset, mini Money Mindset program is free. And it gives you a link into the full Money Mindset program with a discount when you do the Mini Mindset audio course. If you really want to get intimate with money, at least do the free one. And if you want to go further, there's a discount for you if you've done the free one. So I'm feeling very generous this week, actually. Don't normally sell things on my lives. I normally just deliver training, and I have tonight delivered training for you. But I think these 2 things will help. This book will help you. If you've got Kindle, it will cost you less than £3. Why wouldn't you? Yeah, if you want it on paperback, it'll cost you a tenner. Mini Money Mindset course, free. Okay, so if I can do this, guys, if I can do this and I can take responsibility for my life at this level, and I can manifest a £400,000 house, an extra 60 grand to spend on furniture, and my dream business all in 1 year, with 10 years worth of work and investment. And I've not just got that, guy. I have to say, remember I said both my kids have got pensions. My son had his ISA statement through yesterday. He's 15. He's got £8,000 in it. And I was only putting £30 a month in, and any lump sums that came my way, I didn't do anything big. Same for my daughter. I've changed my wealth. I've changed my life because I decided to do it. And you can do that too. You can absolutely do that too. Don't think that you can't. If you think you can't, you can't. If you open yourself up to being able to do anything, then you will. And that's what I want for you. I want you to have everything that I've had and more, because we all deserve an abundant, beautiful life. All of us. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed the training. It has been lovely spending an hour with you on a Tuesday evening like I always do. Join me next week for even more great content that will help you with something. I'll see you then.